Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Today's rising real estate prices and interest rates have sparked memories within me for the period of the 1980s. That's back when I made my living as a real estate broker. It was at the very beginning of slowly starting to convert to a financial advisor. Those were the days of 12, 14% mortgages, 18% prime rates, which just really put ownership out of reach of many. And something called seller financing, which can also be referred to as carrying back a contract for deed. That's the seller. The seller is a bank. Carrying back a mortgage or a deed of trust is a really common way for buyers to buy and sellers to sell property in times when cash is really tight. I remember in that time of not going to a bank with a client for probably 3 years. So everything, at least the deals I did, were done by contract for deeds or seller finance mortgages. So roll ahead, 40 years? Today, cash deals have become the gold standard in real estate. I haven't been aware or heard of a seller carrying back financing for decades. But rising interest rates now are giving some sellers an opportunity to perhaps have their cake and eat it too. I want to list some property owners, see if you're one of them or you know one of them that may be a candidate for seller financing. Those that have a lot of equity in their home and no need for the sale proceeds other than investing them. They don't need them to buy another house, pay down debt, anything else. They would just be invested. And they would like to keep the funds or have a place in their portfolio to put them into a CD, a certificate of deposit like instrument that would return higher than a bank savings account or a CD. Second one is when getting your price is more important than getting cash. Third, when tax consequences would improve if the purchase price was spread over 2 or more years. So that's, in other words, if paying lower taxes would be important. And those who own unique properties where bank financing is just not available. That can be land, it can be mobile homes, very special use type properties. Now there are advantages to seller financing. One is the ability to attract a broader range of buyers. Not everyone has either the full down payment to qualify for a bank loan or the ability to qualify for the large payments created by today's high interest rates. So by offering seller financing, you open the door to potential buyers who might not qualify for traditional mortgages due to credit issues or other financial constraints. When you finance the sale of your property, you then become the lender. You'll probably receive a higher interest rate than you would from a bank CD. The regular monthly payments from the buyer can provide a steady income stream. And for some sellers, the higher rate of return and predictable cash flow is a significant advantage. You often can obtain a higher sales price when offering seller financing. Buyers are usually willing to pay more for the convenience of not having to secure a mortgage or make a large cash down payment up front. Selling on a contract for deed can offer potential tax advantages as well. Depending on your specific situation and the tax laws in your state, you may be able to spread out the capital gains tax liability over the life of the contract rather than paying it upfront all at once. And it doesn't mean the contract has to last for 25 or 30 years. It could last for 2 years or 3 years, whatever is advantageous for both you and the seller. Of course, you want to work that out with your accountant. So there are drawbacks to seller financing. One of the biggest is the risk of that a buyer would default on the contract. If the buyer stops making payments, you may have to go through a time-consuming and costly legal process to regain possession of the property. You also risk a potential loss on reselling the property if values have declined or the buyer has left the property in poor condition. When you sell on a contract for deed, your equity remains tied up in the property. You won't have full access to the sale proceeds until the contract is paid off, which could be monthly over a period of time. Sometimes contract for deeds are due all at once, usually more short term, but they're illiquid. You'll also have more administrative tasks than most other liquid investments, certainly. So that means you'll need to keep accurate records and ensure that the buyer complies with the terms of the contract. So seller financing can pay both emotional and financial dividends. Yet, it's not for everyone. You really need to carefully consider your unique financial situation first, and then get the advice of legal, tax advisors, financial planners, and realtors to really know, is this the right fit for you? Is this a really good option for your financial plan? Thanks for listening.